guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial on this bronzy summer makeup look. I used a couple of new fun products and one was a little bit interesting. I used a black lip liner. So you guys will be able to see how that goes. If you like this video, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you are curious to see how I created this look, then go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is start off with my skin, and I have this weird suspicion that I am actually very sensitive to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I tried it 2 times recently and I noticed that after I wore it, a few days later, just my whole entire face was just broken out completely. So I'm going to stay away from that foundation today. I am a little bit more tan right now, so I'm going to see if my YSL Touche Eclat Radiance Awakening Foundation matches me at the moment. It still might be just a little bit too dark, but we can lighten that up with a little bit of concealer later. I have mine in the shade BD60 and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use it on a flat Kabuki brush by Sigma. This is the F80. So I'm just going to go ahead and take 1 pump of that and distribute that all over the face. I'm not using a primer just because I already have moisturizer on my skin from my skincare this morning, and I don't know, I'm just not in the mood to use a primer today. But if you have one that you use and you love, then feel free to go ahead and use that before you apply your foundation. So I actually really like the color match right now. It looks really good. And I just put a nice light layer all over the skin, and it just gives a beautiful, healthy glow to the skin. So next up, I'm actually going to work on the eyes and then we'll move back onto the face later. I'm going to be taking my Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette to create this look today. I'm going to do something super warm tone and bronzy, so I'm going to be sticking to this side of the palette right here. I haven't used this in a long time, so I decided to break it out today and put it to use. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shade down here called Divinity, and I'm just going to lightly pack a little bit of this all over the lid. If you want to use an eyeshadow primer before this stuff, you totally can, but I just usually don't use an eyeshadow primer. I usually use my concealer and my foundation as a primer for my eyeshadow. So right now I'm just setting it to make sure that it's easy to blend out the eyeshadows on top later. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shade Mocha right here, and it is a neutral brown shade, and I am just going to be taking just a little bit of that on my brush. And this is the Sigma E40 brush. What I'm going to be doing with this shadow is I'm going to be taking it in to my crease area. If you don't have a crease that's noticeable on your eyelid, just create one. I'm taking it right below my brow bone right here. I'm taking it back and forth. I'm taking it kind of up to where my eyebrow starts. I'm taking it kind of diagonally over here, and then I'm going to be winging it out in the outer corner to create a bit of a cat eye shape. I find that this elongates and lifts my eye shape personally. That's why I like to do that instead of bringing it down and rounding out my shadow. So again, just back and forth, windshield wiper motions, and then just little tiny circles as you're blending the color. And use a very light hand. You can start with very little shadow and build it up. You don't have to go in with a lot of pigment right away. This will make it a lot easier for you to blend it out and make it look seamless instead of just a harsh line of shadow. Okay, so now that we have that color built into the crease, now what we're going to do is we are going to take a bronzy shade and just put it all over the lid. I'm trying to keep this look as simple as possible for you guys to recreate. I'm going to be taking the shade Molasses Chip. That is the bronzy brown shade in the palette, but obviously you guys can use whatever shade that you have in your collection as you're recreating this look. And I'm just taking this on a flat shader brush. This is the Zoeva 234 Luxe Smoky Shader, and I am just going to start pushing this all over the lid space. So now that we have that shade all over the lid, you can either leave it here and throw on some mascara, or you can deepen up the outer corner just a little bit more. I'm going to be doing that today. I'm going to be taking the shade Malted. This is just a deeper brown, and I'm just going to be taking a little bit of that on my E25 blending brush from Sigma, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a V in the outer corner of my eye over here. So I'm taking it right where we put the other shade in the crease, and I'm going to also bring it down over here in the outer corner, so this V shape right here. And I'm just going to start blending this onto the lid. So I'm going to leave the eyes here for now, and I'm going to go back to working on the face. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cream bronzer to warm up the perimeter of my skin with this Soleil Tan de Chanel cream bronzer. You guys know that I love this stuff. I've been using it for so many years. I know a lot of people think that it's a super expensive item, but it's not as expensive as a lot of foundations out there, and this is going to last you a lot longer. So I just take a little bit of it on my brush. This is the flat angled F88 brush from Sigma. And what I do is I find the hollows of my cheekbones so you guys can feel where your bone is on your cheek right here, and then just right below it, that is where I'm going to be angling the brush and pushing the product, and I'm going to be blending it upward. You don't want to blend it down. That's going to actually make your face look larger. You want to blend it upward to lift and sculpt the face. So I'm going to be placing it again in the same areas on the other side. And I don't like to just put it right here. I like to also bring it up onto my temples right here, and I kind of create a rounded, they say a 3 shape, so you want to take the 3 right here as well and take some on your jawline as well. But I like to mostly place the product right here and on the forehead. So you guys saw how little product I use, so this stuff definitely does last a super long time. Next for concealer, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer. This is in the shade 3W, and I'm just going to take a very small amount right here where I have a lot of darkness and shadows, and on the sides of my nose. And then I'm going to take a little bit over here in this area as well, just to lift and brighten, and then a little bit just down on the center of my nose and my chin. Now when I'm blending out concealer, I like to push as I'm blending it out. I don't like to buff or anything like that. I'm pushing the product as I'm moving it. So now what I'm going to do to make sure that the concealer is blending into the bronzer is I'm going to take my brush again without any additional product on it, and I'm just going to go back over that area and blend everything together. For powder today, I'm going to be trying out the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. Hourglass actually sent this to me to try out, and I'm really excited to give it a try because everyone is hyping it up like crazy, and they sent me the dual-ended brush as well. So I'm going to take a little bit of powder on the smaller end of the brush to set my under eye area. And I'm going to take the larger end of the brush and I'm going to dip into the pot of this powder. This powder is so beautiful, by the way. I just find that the packaging is a little bit messy. And I'm just going to very lightly push some powder into the rest of my skin. So I don't see that it's giving a super mattifying effect to my skin. You guys can still see a lot of radiance to my skin, which is interesting. I thought that it was going to mattify everything. It didn't. It definitely looks set, but it doesn't look matte. It kind of has more of a satin finish of powder, which I think that is actually pretty nice. So next up I'm going to go in with a bit of powder bronzer. This one right here is Bronzed Bondi by Becca. I used this in a previous tutorial and you guys loved this shade on my skin for some reason. I was getting so many compliments in the comments when I used this, so thank you so much. And I'm just going to be using this on a big fluffy brush, and I'm going to be doing some very light circular motions on the cheeks to kind of add a little bit more warmth. This bronzer has a bit of a red undertone to it, so it's going to add a natural looking tan to the skin. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that to bronze up the areas. You guys don't need to do this because we did already use the cream bronzer, but if you didn't use the cream and just wanted to use the powder or vice versa, this is a great option. For blush today, I'm going to be going in with Milani Luminoso. This one is one of my favorites for the summer. I just think that it looks so pretty with a bronze look. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this a little bit further back on my cheeks. And I haven't been using a powder highlight because I've been having some texture issues with my skin, so I'm not going to be adding any powder highlighter today, but if you wanted to wear some, this is when you should apply it. Now I'm quickly going to finish off the eyes. So I'm taking a domed brush. You guys can use any one in your collection. This one is the dual-ended one from Kat Von D. And I'm going to be taking the shade Mocha first, which is the shade that we put in the crease. And I am going to start from the outer corner of my eye, and I'm going to start blending it very close to the lash line, almost into the lashes. Then I'm going to flip the brush over to the pointier side, and I'm going to be taking the shade Malted, which is the darker brown that we have in the outer corner. And I'm just very lightly going to wiggle some of that into the outer half of the lower lash line. Then I'm going to flip the brush back around, and I'm going to blend those two colors together and make sure that it's blending into the upper lash line shadow as well. So next up for mascara, I'm going to be testing this one out today. This one is the Lash Expert Twist Brush Double Effect Mascara by Terry. They very kindly sent this to me to try out. So I'm just going to go ahead and start it off with the brush completely straight, and I'm going to start applying this to my lashes. So far I can see that the color of the mascara is very black, which I like, and it's doing a good job of lengthening my lashes. Okay, so I haven't even dipped back into the mascara tube yet, and I'm actually just going to do a little bit more of a second coat on this eye with no further product on the wand, because honestly, these mascara wands in general on every mascara pick up so much product. You don't need to keep dipping back into it. There's so much mascara on the brush. Wow, that is a huge difference. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist the mascara wand so it becomes a little bit more compact, and I am going to dip back in now so that the mascara kind of gets into the wand in the places that it's supposed to while it's twisted in this shape. And I'm going to go in with another coat and see what the difference is. So I can definitely see the difference in person between adding the coat with the mascara wand twisted like this versus the coat without it. I think that it is so beautiful. It looks like doll eyelashes. I'm really loving this mascara a lot. Okay, so that is the lashes done. I don't like to put mascara on my lower lashes. That's just personal preference. You totally can if you want to. But next up, we are going to try out a very interesting product for the lips. So I got sent this Givenchy Universal Noir lip liner. So that is a black lip liner, and it's supposed to go with every shade of lipstick. It kind of freaks me out, but let's go ahead and try it out and see what it looks like, because it's black. Let's see. Interesting. Okay, so it's definitely black. I don't get how this would work with like a nude lipstick, but let's test it out and see. Okay, so let's go ahead and try it out with Cherish by MAC. This is just a nude satin lipstick. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that lip liner, guys. I think that it's a little bit harsh. Like, you can definitely see it. Like, even blending the two together, I understand the idea behind it, like it's kind of supposed to add a little bit of a natural shadow to the lips, but it's a little bit too obvious for my personal preference. But what I do also want to try are these new Buxom holographic plumping lip polishes. So depending on the color of the holographic gloss that you choose to apply over a lipstick, it kind of transforms and pulls different undertones from the lipstick that you're wearing. So this one kind of matches the vibe of what we're going for. And there's a silicone applicator, which makes it very easy to apply and layer over lip products. So let's go ahead and see, whoa, what it looks like. So I really like this gloss on top. I think that it kind of made the lip work. So they have 8 shades of them, all different cool fun colors. I think that these ones right here are the more neutral ones that you would use for more just wearable everyday looks, and then these are the more fun festival type colors. So now of course you just want to use a little bit of setting spray because it is hot in the summer and you don't want this makeup to go anywhere. This is the Urban Decay De-Slick Makeup Setting Spray for oil control. And then that completes this look. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. And hopefully I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.